Yeah.
Okay, I've got it recording, but now I just want to see where.
I want to be 60, so long.
I did, exactly. I did advanced PE in high school. My year that I graduated was the only year that had it, which was fortunate for me. So we learned a lot of nutrition speaking, and
Okay.
we worked out like at the football facility gym.
Let's see
4
here.
days a week.
This is
We
John.
had fun day Friday.
I'm trying to get this.
Played any sport we wanted to.
That's us. We're on live broadcast, but I'm just trying to see how they find us here.
Yeah, it was actually an AP.
No way.
Yeah, so I got an AP credit.
Nice.
For working out.
Yeah, exactly. It was awesome.
If you get a B, you should be disappointed.
Like, come on. So, like, every Friday we play football or open frisbee or that cool ass dodgeball game. I forgot what it was called. But, yeah, it was.
All right, John, we're gonna go there. All right, everybody, grab a seat over here. Let's go. Let's roll. Eric and Lanzetta are on their way, but we have what? I just sent them. Oh, grab my phone. Tell them to go onto YouTube.
Eric, can you guys are filming? Yeah.
You can go to YouTube. You can also watch this later. It's gonna be recorded. But
We're gonna ask questions.
right, then you must do it. Go to YouTube. Here, show him this. So that's the section. Oh my God. Huh?
Is it chicken?
Yeah, it's fine. I crushed mine.
That's awesome.
No, it's
These are
so
for-
good.
You don't need that sugar.
Yeah, but this is lower, that's higher, I'm short.
Yeah, where's the music?
I thought somebody else was already singing. No?
Is it you?
Yeah.
Is it you pointing where I was at?
Huh?
I said,
Hey man, that was some good music you were playing.
Where's the music coming from?
Oh yeah, that speaker doesn't look like a speaker. That's the speaker right there. That red phone.
Just like it.
Yeah.
I walked over and was like, that music.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on?
Under the table? What's happening?
Because I thought it was actually coming out of that jacket on the back. That thing outside.
You want it off?
Huh?
I might have to
These guys sit tight. I want to start with the hot people. Is this you or me? Finish this one, sauce.
If you have people that are physically coming,
Well, one is Eric, he's already heard everything.
Yeah.
Just wanna come say hi.
Oh, Eric's here?
Chicken.
His wife was supposed to gym to work,
Those crunchy things you're
and then I have Linzetta who will be in a couple minutes. So, maybe it's stop. You can go around and introduce themselves.
Okay.
I don't know.
But.
That's why some people are.
You don't want to check?
I'm gonna sit. This is like so high. It makes me look.
You're already a giant.
Yeah, it makes me look weird.
You need a kitty chair.
If he feels uncomfortable in a high chair, how do I feel?
I feel like a freak. I feel like a freak.
I don't know how you wanna.
They play rock everywhere.
Yeah, no joke. You guys have done this. When I met him, he said, "Oh, this is awesome. Somebody my size." And I stood next to him, and I've never felt smaller. His hands are as big as my head. It's massive.
Yeah, so we've got my friend AVD, which is on. I have my other friend Jay, who's on right now. Kyle is on right now. So I got 4. Is Joe on yet? It just stinks because I can't do both. I can't do both the, like, see their faces and record it. It's like one or the other. So we are recording live streaming so they can watch from afar.
All right. So, everybody here knows everybody. Who's on the
Those
call?
are mine.
Just friends of yours? Okay. Did you want to wait for the one of the guys that brings you your avocados?
Not really.
Not really?
I've given them the back. We'll jump in here. She's just in the Zoom time zone.
Let's do this.
Oh, you got it.
Let's just kick it off. They really can't see that.
Should I jump me on? It's delayed, the live stream is delayed by like.
No, it's the resolution one. You can't read a single thing on the screen.
No.
It's not really live stream. Huh?
It's not really live streaming if you can't actually read the screen.
Well, I'm gonna say it.
That's what the picture looks like.
Yeah. It's not really gonna get much better than that.
Hello.
If we did it off of my computer, we could share screen through it, but.
Well, I guess we'll just have to do it this way. I mean, at the end of the day, it's.
Hello, everybody. There's human beings there, even though you can't see them.
They can't see me. Yeah, they're not gonna be able to see me anyways. The only way they'll be able to see me is if I scrunch down like a Smurf.
How about you put that on a
How are
higher
you gonna
chair?
sit there?
Why don't you put that on? Is there something higher you put? Yeah.
Hmm.
Just move the table out of the way
Can you
completely.
lift that up real quick? Let's see if this works.
It's just kind of right in the middle.
It's, yeah.
That's a little better.
I did it that way. Yeah. Okay, just right in his face. It's perfect for me.
Perfect.
It's got a good spot.
That's right. I'll just look through this little triangle. See if
So they're gonna see you.
I'm gonna sit down since we're. No, they can sit there. Perfect.
So, well,
Let's see if the
you
picture
might wanna
works.
turn.
What?
Oh.
Never mind.
Go watch Chick-fil-A.
Cool.
We did
We did.
before the gym.
That's not even.
We
That's not
started
even.
a grilled chicken.
That's not even fair. So our lines at Chick-fil-A where we live are literally. They're like In-N-Out lines. You know what In-N-Out is?
This one was terrible.
This
We
one
had
was
to- we had to
wrapped
park.
around.
Okay.
Wrapped around.
They had codes saying drive-through and exit. I was like, oh my god.
I can't believe the energy you got out of half a sandwich. Remember you guys have had since you've been here. I'm just gonna store it up. That's what it is.
Alright, so I wonder, because it'll be delayed on the phone, because I've done this before, where like we're live streaming, then we get them on the phone, because it's like 5 minutes off, so it's really awkward. So at the end, I'll just get them on the phone call, so they can ask questions or whatever.
Sure.
So I've got, My friend Jay is in Pennsylvania. He's on. Crystal that you were talking to earlier, who's in Boca Raton. So Jay's studying nutrition. Actually, I can just like call them and have them introduce themselves real quick because we won't hear them.
Well, I figured you would kick us off anyways, and then I'll.
Okay.
So we have Jay, Crystal.
Yeah, this is gonna be funny. So Jay, yo, we're doing quick introductions, so you need to introduce yourself. So, what are you studying, goals, future, like, why you're joining us today?
Kathy told me to.
To help people with their health goals.
No, he's really passionate about nutrition. Like, that's something he's really excited about. That's how we connected. And so I had invited him to this. But yeah, I was trying to say, what are you studying? What are you wanting to do in the future?
Yeah, well, my plan is to open up either a nutrition company myself or, distribute a product that would increase people's health longevity.
Mike.
Teach people about nutrition and eating right and fitness goals. And to be successful in the field of nutrition and health, basically.
Cool. It's going to be delayed in the back, but you'll see us on the computer. So at the end, I'll call you guys or call my cell phone so that you can ask like questions and stuff at the end. Cool? All right. And then my girlfriend, Crystal, she worked with me with Cutco back in 2005, 2006. She was one of my top people. We get to see your face. So Crystal worked with me with Cutco before, and she was like my top recruiter. Like she was like my pregnant recruiter back in like 2006.
Is that a position, pregnant recruiter?
She's awesome. She just sit there. So you can't not trust a pregnant woman. She's my best recruiter. But she had her baby, so she left to take care of her daughter, and she's been doing forever. Before she started with Cutco, during Cutco to this day, she teaches at different gyms, like fitness classes. She does training. Like now she's going to be just working with people individually with different clients. So super big on health and nutrition, Cutco person, super driven, focused, super hard worker, outdoorsy person. She's absolutely killer. Someone I'm super excited to have on our elevated team. I know she's really excited to play a big role on the elevated team. Then we have my buddy, Chris Drow. Chris Drow also did Cutco. I met him in 03 in Cutco. He was district manager. He was a top rep. He left and worked for Aflac. So he was doing insurance sales with Aflac, came back with Cutco, and then left. He worked with Truemaker and doing all the shirts. And then he's played professional poker forever. He's actually in a poker tournament he was in earlier today. But he's just played poker professionally. He's pretty ridiculous at it. And then apparently just moved back to Florida. So I need to catch up with him, but someone I think could play a huge role. We have Kyle Law, and Kyle is someone that I met in Cutco as well, about 10 years ago, or I don't know, maybe 8 years ago. And we became really great friends. So he was a top rep and manager. Then left Cutco. We reconnected building the medical clinic in Haiti. We went the first year together in 2011 to Haiti, and we've kept in touch and seen each other through. But really good friend, super big into fitness, health. Did he say his parents own a gym?
They both do, yeah.
Okay, his parents own a gym. That's something one of his dreams in the future is to own a gym, and someone that I think, again, could play a really big role. We've got Jeb, one of Josh's best friends, who actually works full-time with Verizon, but they did fundraising.
Live for Life. We did Live for Life, which was 4 guys lifting 1 million pounds to help raise awareness for cystic fibrosis. We did that in 1 day and did it in a couple hours.
1 million pounds?
1 million
Yeah.
pounds.
They had to do reps of however many, and it added
Like a
up.
push-up would be your body weight and a minute push-up.
It was, let's say you sit down and do 200 pounds on a bench press. You hit it 20 times. That's 4,000 pounds right there. You're adding up, and every single person on the floor has to do 200. Every single person has to do 200.
He looks like Popeye. If you meet him.
And he was very sore for about a month.
He is Popeye.
They call Jeb Popeye. He's just like, and his like forearms are like I think bigger than his biceps.
Yeah.
They really are. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Is he on?
I don't know. You told me that he was on, so he might not, but he might be joining later. ABD, she's an ass-kicking female from Cutco that actually is dating one of my really good friends in the business, Brian Hurlman. So she's actually just moved
What's her
closer to him. Her name's Alexandra Van Dyke. We call her ABD. Alexandra Van Dyke. So she's helping. She works with Cutco. She's a butt kicker, and I know they've been on a big health craze, and with Brian, he's lost a ton of weight and really just trying to be healthy and feed body the right things. So I just wanted her to like learn about it and the supplements and stuff. But she's kind of in the middle of her next career path where she's going. Then another buddy of mine and his wife, they're gonna watch later tonight. They're moving to Oregon and also really big on health, checking stuff out. My buddy Phil White that I knew from Cutco 10 years ago, he said he'll be on in 10 minutes, so he'll live stream. They start it whenever they want, so they'll be right behind us.
Okay.
But Phil and his lady, Superman, she's super big into health and fitness and nutrition, and they actually decided they wanted a new start from Florida. They're moving to San Diego in January, and they don't have, they don't have any major jobs lined up. I think they wanted to change the scenery, wanted to change the pace. He does real estate stuff, and they were interested in just learning about the company and checking it out. So he'll be on here shortly. And then I believe, and then Corey, he'll be on later tonight. But those are the people that are on right now, and I'll let you know the other people that are going to be watching it. So,
We have a newcomer in the room.
and then,
We have a newcomer in the room.
Yeah.
About the avocados.
Avocados, Mr. Lanzetta, Hall of Fame with Cutco, top seller.
So avocados is a good nickname.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'll forever. They say that the
Mike.
memory is linked to emotions, and then
Mike, the avocado man. So Mike actually he's been training, and he actually just finished coaching the youth at Tony Robbins at the last UPW.
Oh,
He's gone through their leadership program, and you can share, because I met him through Tony Robbins at Dave Destiny. That's how we met.
Yeah.
So he was behind, running around, been through 2 David Destinies now.
Yeah, I'm going on my third this month, or next month.
I'll never forget Mike the avocado man.
So Mike's super huge in personal growth, and also obviously feeding your body the right things and energy, and through being around Tony, for so long and all of Tony's programs. I guess I don't know, that was a big part for me. But anything else you want to share? You weren't here earlier when we were all introducing.
Right, no, just been doing Robbins and honest coaching training, and just done a lot of other Robbins stuff, and Brennan Richard and other avenues and various people who are in the industry. I've just spent a lot of, time and money the last few years learning about that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm in the personal development coaching. I'm going to be doing speaking at colleges coming up this year as well too, for Front Row Foundation, which I can get more into, I guess, if they don't know, or which is kind of like a Make-A-Wish Foundation for terminally ill people who are children and adults, where they put them through a front row event of their liking. So
That's awesome.
and so there's a college speaking circuit on behalf of that company, and I'll be joining that too. So just about serving, helping people, and mainly in the personal development world with it. And this is awesome to be a part of something that's health related, because obviously you can't be personally involved if your health's not there too. So it's kind of neat, I guess.
That's great.
And you haven't met everybody else, well, Isaac, and then this is my sister-in-law, the lady of the man, my brother.
Does she have a name, Kathy, or did you forget her name?
Kate.
It was just weird the way you were doing that. I was almost like you were stalling to get the name. You know what I mean?
No.
We all brain cramp. Sorry, you're staring at my stomach real quick.
So I was like, I'm just supposed to say that.
Okay. All right. You're back.
So it's a confusing situation. Anyway, my brother, Joshua. Have you met Josh yet?
Just now, no.
No, you haven't met Josh
First
yet?
time.
I feel like you like me and my family, but you don't.
Yeah, I feel like it too, yeah.
Because he met Dad in
Right.
January. Okay, he met Dad at my
I've heard a lot about you, so I kind of feel like I know you.
Yeah, and then this is my sister Michelle, and her husband Aaron.
Yeah.
So it's the crew.
All right.
And John, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and introduce myself as well. So I really appreciate Kathy inviting me over. Kathy and I actually met at Day with Destiny back in December. and we were kindred spirits. We connected quickly. What's that?
I'm not saying Jeb's on.
Oh, hey Jeb. Good to see you, bud. Well, we can't see you, but you can see us. So Kathy and I met a date with Destiny, and I told her about this crazy idea that I had for a company, a health and nutrition company, using multi-level marketing to spread the message, make a difference in people's lives. So that's what we're going to talk about today. She asked me to come out here to Houston. She had some folks that wanted to be exposed to the opportunity. And I think it bears mentioning that this is, I'll tell you what this is and what this isn't. So what this meeting is this is a pre-launch meeting. What it isn't is a recruiting meeting. This is really just to give you guys an exposure. Kathy asked me to expose the opportunity and the business to some people initially, really at the ground floor, some people that she trusted, and I trust Kathy implicitly, so thereby she trusts you, I trust you. And so what this is, we are pre-launch. And when I say pre-launch, I mean we have the comp plan finished, we have some of the technology done on the back end. The products are all in manufacturing. So we run into a lot of snags, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. And one of the snags we run into from a manufacturing standpoint is that nobody's really doing really all natural, healthy products. And I've come to find out why a lot of the large multi-level marketing companies don't do it, why a lot of the companies that you see in the GNC and you see in a lot of the vitamin and health stores aren't doing it is because it is very expensive to put really good products into, or really good ingredients into your products, right, to bake the right cake. So we are in manufacturing right now. The only thing that is finished is with a protein powder, a chocolate protein powder that is complete. So we're 100% done with the chocolate protein, and we're actually labeling that right now in Anaheim at our manufacturing facility, which we'll talk about. So again, I just want to emphasize this meeting is about, it's a pre-launch, telling you about the company, telling you about the opportunity. Kathy later will explain sort of the business side of it because she's very good at that. She's better at it than I am. My mission, and I'll talk a little bit about this, is really to create an incredible opportunity for people. I am passionate about health and fitness, and I'll tell you about a little of my background here in a second. But I want to create, I want to help people and change their lives and give them better health. And obviously, I've got young kids, so I see it firsthand. You know, child obesity is a huge problem. Our elderly are growing older, and they're growing older without really the benefits of having a life. They're sort of like they're growing older and becoming more decrepit, and they can't move around. It's just really sad to see. So it's really, I think we've got a responsibility, especially myself, starting this company, and then anybody who decides to join the company, we have a responsibility to help people live longer, live healthier, live fuller lives, and that's really what this is all about. So you're probably like, who the hell is this guy, this tall, lanky, skinny dude? I'll give you just a quick background on me. I don't know if you guys can see any of this on the screen. If you can't, Kathy will have to send it to you, so I apologize. So I'll give you a little bit of my background. So I graduated from the University of Arizona back in 1998. I was actually working in politics at the time. So I worked for the state legislature, and I realized really quick I did not want to follow my dad's footsteps. My dad was an attorney. He had worked for the Democratic Party in the state of Arizona for almost 40 years. And so I figured that I would go and become a lawyer, go into politics. Didn't work out. Graduated from the U of A. Decided not to take the job at the state legislature. Did really what anybody I think would do at that point. I told my mom I was going to move to Southern California and play professional beach volleyball. So I went home and said, Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to play beach volleyball. I packed up and I moved out to Southern California. I ended up taking a job, and I've kind of been in a seat where a lot of some of you Cutco folks have been. I took a full commission job, did very, very well at it to sort of support my volleyball habit. And then I broke onto the tour in 2001. When I made the tour in 2001, the company that I was working for went out of business. And this was right after 9/11. And so I had to find another career. And I was very honest with every employer that would interview me. So I told them, listen, I just made the professional beach volleyball tour. It took me 3 years to make it on tour. I don't want to give this up. You know, I will work my butt off for you for 8 months, but I need 4 months off, essentially, either part-time or no time, to play on the Pro Beach Volleyball Tour, and nobody would hire me. I mean, I literally, real estate companies, you know, I interviewed at Cintas, the uniform company. What's that?
That's where Eric's life works.
That's where Eric's life works, yeah. So I mean, anybody that would interview me, I just couldn't get a job. Nobody liked that model. The only guy that would hire me was actually a logistics company, a transportation company, doing domestic international transportation. And I'll never forget, I interviewed the guy, and he said, I don't care if you stand on your head naked in the corner. You can play as much volleyball as you want as long as you meet your numbers. I'm like, I'm sold. So that's how I got into transportation, which is important to this particular story in terms of my background. I ended up working for that company for 5 years, actually played on the Pro Volleyball Tour full time. It's kind of the equivalent of like the Home Depot policy, right, where they have the Olympic athletes that work and then they go do their Olympic training. That's kind of what it felt like. So I worked in logistics for 8 months, and then I would go play volleyball for 4 months. And it was an awesome experience. I got to play against all the Olympians, Karch Karai, Phil Dalhouser, obviously became friends with Kerry Walsh, Misty May. So it was a great experience over those 10 years when I worked. But about 5 years into this adventure, my boss had it. He was done. I was crushing it for 8 months, but then I was gone for 4 months, and he didn't really like that. So he sort of pulled the rug out from under me and said, volleyball or logistics, you pick. And that was a no-brainer. So I was actually across from, this is a crazy story, I was across from Ground Zero. It was 2006. I was literally sitting there's like a Renaissance Marriott across from Ground Zero. And I called my boss and said, hey, I know we've been having some issues lately, and I know there's this volleyball tournament in Brooklyn. I was actually out on Coney Island at the time, and I said, I really want to go to this tournament, not telling him that I was already in New York. And he says, listen, if you get on the plane and go to that tournament, you won't have a job when you get back. I said, well, then I guess I don't have a job because I'm already in New York. And that has started sort of this entrepreneurial adventure, right? And it really got me thinking a lot about freedom and what that means in terms of our careers and our lifestyles and what we want. And so, so I quit my job. My next phone call after that was to my wife. And I said, how much do you love me? And she said, what did you do? And I said, I just quit my my 6-figure income so that I can figure out what my next step was. So I ended up getting very, very fortunate. I hooked up with a guy. We started a company. We sold that company in 2008. We're very fortunate. Sold it the day before Lehman Brothers went out of business. Literally the day before. We were the last deal the bank approved. My partner was the majority owner in that business. I got a slice of the pie. Had a 2-year non-compete agreement, and subsequently I started Epic Freight Solutions. So why am I telling you this? And not to impress you in any way, shape, or form, but just to give you a little testimony on my story. I've sort of been in the seat that everybody has been in. I think I've done it all. I've done full commission jobs. I've had to quit jobs. I've had bosses tell me that, basically dictate to me what my schedule was going to look like. I didn't like that. And so I started Epic Freight Solutions, and we started that company in 2011, right in the middle of the recession, the Great Recession, 2008, 2011. And we've done very, very well. I tell you that because I want you to know that I think I've got some skill sets that apply to starting a business. I've done it once, sold a company called Hang Smart that I started actually during my 2-year non-compete agreement. So I've been very, very lucky, and I think I understand sort of what it takes to start and build a company, which is why hopefully you get an opportunity. At least it opens your ears a little bit more when I'm talking as to why this opportunity might make sense for you. So, but Epic Freight, I'm still the CEO and owner of Epic Freight. Domestic international transportation provider. And when I started that company, it was very similar to starting Elevated. I went to go start that company in 2011. I took the money that I got from my non-compete, and people were like, you've got to be crazy. There's #1 most competitive industry in Los Angeles is transportation logistics, right? So there is more registered freight companies in LA than any other industry. So the only thing that outranks us are doctors and lawyers, right? Professional designations. So everybody thought I was crazy. Like, you're going to start a freight company in the most competitive space. There's thousands. It's a total commodity. But subsequently, we've become the 660th fastest growing private company in all of America. We are one of the top 100 fastest growing companies in Los Angeles. And I really understand now what it means to start a company in a very competitive space. Sometimes you don't need like the fanciest product. You don't need an iPad or an iPhone. You don't need something that's totally revolutionary. You need really good people that believe in it and have a purpose and have a cause. And if you can have a compelling message and tell it to enough people, it's going to resonate and you're going to do well. And subsequently with Epic, that's what we've done. Right? We've created this company that's gone from $0 to $10 million in basically 4 years flat. So it's not good. So let's take a quick second about the supplements and talk about the all-natural space. And I finally get why one of my buddies is the top 4 distributor. So he's like the Kathy of Herbalife, right? He's just this ultra successful distributor in Herbalife. And he's done an incredible job with his organization. And I know he's doing at this point, he's already done some things for people in terms of weight loss and living a healthier life. It is better, I get it. But I had an opportunity, because he's a friend of mine, and because the AVP was sponsored by Herbalife for 4 years, I had an opportunity to look on the back label. And one of the first ingredients, first off, you're only getting 9 grams of protein in servings. So you're not really getting the protein intake you need. Secondly, it's all whey-based, and we can talk about that later, but whey and soy-based proteins from a digestive standpoint, it's still animal produced, right? It's animal derived. So there's some hesitation from my standpoint there. But sugar, right? #1 killer in America right now. Number one cause for obesity is sugar, fructose, sucralose. So one of the reasons why we spend so much time on the all natural space is because we want to take great quality products to the market, and we're starting to find out they're very expensive. So the reason that these other MLMs haven't done this, and I think stay away from that, is because it's ridiculously expensive to manufacture high quality products. It is much cheaper to go get a whey protein than it is to get a brown rice or a pea-based protein. Much cheaper. It's much cheaper to pump it full of sucralose to make it taste good than it is to go through the process of all natural ingredients and all natural sweeteners to make it taste palatable. So Eric, to Eric's point, is we've all done this. Has anyone ever taken an all natural pre-workout? I mean, 100% all natural pre-workout. Have you? Some of those are really tough to choke down, right? Really tough to choke down. And it's also expensive to make. So as a manufacturer, and if you're producing this for the mass market, you're thinking, so let me get this straight. I got to spend, on average, I got to spend almost twice as much in the manufacturing process to produce the product, right? So I got to spend twice as much. And then maybe 2 times less people are going to like it because it tastes like crap. So our challenge has been through this whole process is to get something to market that is not only all natural, it doesn't have the sucralose. And I'll tell you, the lab told me as we're doing the pre-workout, they said, hey, we got to put sucralose in this. This is unpalatable. You can't even choke this stuff down. And I said, send it to me, let me taste it out. And I got the first sample, and oh my God, they were right. I could not choke it down. It was terrible. So we had to work through this for literally 2 months of just back and forth sampling and putting all the ingredients in, and it's tough. So I get it. I understand why these other companies are staying away from this space, but it also creates incredible opportunity. If you can find a product that is good enough where people enjoy it and it has enough of a taste that they'll take it, there's going to be a really amazing opportunity, quite frankly, for a product like that in the market. And the only one that's doing it right now, in my opinion, and doing it somewhat successfully is a company called Vega. You ever seen Vega? They're sold a lot in like Whole Foods, VEGA. I think they're doing a really good job of coming out with a product that is palatable. So we do have some competition from that standpoint, but they don't have an MLM model, right? So they don't have that model of sort of mass distribution. They're doing it the old-fashioned way, and their markups are extravagant. If you're going to Whole Foods and you're going to buy a canister of Vega, you're going to pay $8 for it. So there's some more opportunity there. So anyway, that's enough about the supplements. Any questions on that? Cool.
If I may add, 1/10 of 1% of $60 billion, or $6 billion to $60 million. So roughly a third of what we do as a company this year. We can capture just 1/10 of 1% of this market.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. So let's talk about.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But all these ingredients, all natural, plant-based.
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 Mm-hmm. Yep.
And one of the things that I've always found interesting is I turn things around and I see how many words I can actually pronounce. The ingredients going in this are at least pretty pronounceable. Does that make sense? Like, you know. Yeah. So there are some. You have to think about there are some of the ingredients that have basically been they've been taken in their purest form. Mm-hmm. So you might have like a potassium, instead of it saying potassium, it's going to say something like potassium. Like I'm just throwing out a name. Let's say like potassium cholinate or something like that. And you're going to look at the second word like, oh, what is that? But it's just the purest form of that specific ingredient. Okay. So and there's 25% of all RDA for the minerals and vitamins that you need are going to be in the protein powder. So it's pretty good. And actually, Kathy has a bottle of Vega that you guys can take a look at. And I think one of the things that Brendan, the guy who started that company, has done a really good job of is he put a lot of sort of like all the natural daily vitamin allowance that you need into his product. He's put almost 50% of the daily allowance for your vitamins into the product. And we follow that model a little bit as well.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Since it's almost double to mass produce this product, since it's all natural, per serving size in the containers, are you still going to have up to 30 servings like your competitors? Okay, that's.
Yeah.
25, 30 grams of protein per scoop.
So 21 right now on the chocolate, 21 on the vanilla. Or 21 on the chocolate, 25 on the vanilla.
Why is that different?
So the reason it was different was there was a mix-up in the lab on the chocolate, on the first run of chocolate. So the first generation chocolate will have 21 grams of protein.
It must taste phenomenal, and that's why you didn't change it.
Well, so here's
like cocoa.
the more protein obviously you put into it, the more protein I'm putting into it, it does take away from some of the flavor. And in terms of, remember when it's a plant-based or a pea-based, which ours is, there's a grittiness to it. I call it earthiness, right, to it. So the more protein I put into it, it definitely got more earthy.
Okay.
Yeah, it got more earthy. So the vanilla has the 25. The chocolate, as we go to market, has 21. Very palatable, tastes good.
what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to bump that up to 25 grams of protein on the next run. So we're gonna go to market on this one. So good question, really good question. Any other questions on that?
Organics.
So we have a certified organic facility. We're not gonna certify organic on this run. So the initial run in 16, none of the products will be certified organic. The goal is, because that process is pretty expensive, right, to go through the organic the goal is to get revenues and get profitability into the company for 16 and then go through that process for 17, right? So the first generation products will not be certified organic.
I know sometimes something doesn't have to necessarily be certified organic for it to be still the same quality. Is that
Correct,
something
but I think from a marketing standpoint, to your point, if you're going to go through the process of spending the money on the ingredients from an organic standpoint, you might as well certify it organic.
Okay.
That way, from a marketing standpoint, you as a consumer can say, hey, this is certified organic.
Right. But I guess just in the first phase or the first year or whatever, someone would be like, oh, why isn't it organic? Will it be some kind of like, well, it's still going to be top level quality or something? Just
Absolutely.
Won't have the certification.
Correct.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah, we didn't use 100% organic products because of the cost, and then we didn't certify it because of the cost.
Yeah.
So, but it is coming out of a certified organic facility, a GMP facility, and it is NSF for sport, which means obviously it's certified for someone to take it if they were going to compete in Olympics, professional sports. So there's some other things that we can use there to social proof it, if you will,
right,
from a quality standpoint.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
good questions. So the workouts, I'm going to talk a little bit about the workouts, health tips, motivation, mindset, community of people, and the purpose giving back. So I'm going to go through this really quick for those of you who can't see. Hold on. So how do we go to market, right? There's a couple of different ways to go to market. I'll talk about the marketing strategy later. But number one, consumables is the foundation. It's all natural supplements. Number two, workouts. So we are going to develop and we will launch in 2016. We will essentially do the equivalent of like a Beachbody on demand. So if you know Beachbody and you've ever done P90X or heard of P90X, Beachbody's DVD sales or physical asset sales have been diminishing. And as they've started to diminish, they've been looking for other ways to generate income. Well, I know because they ended up on the same fastest growing list that we did at Epic, that one of their big sort of like injections this year into their growth was their online product. So they basically digitize a lot of their content and they're delivering it to you as a consumer where you pay a monthly subscription fee. We're going to do the same thing, right? So we're going to use Vidler initially to launch. We'll plug it into our software at IDSTC. We've got a gym down the road from my house that we're going to go into, and we're going to shoot videos. We're going to cast with essentially people from Los Angeles that are close to live by me. Also some models that we're casting into it. We're hoping that Josh can fly out and do some videos. And we're going to deliver content on a regular basis, online streaming content for the workouts. Okay, so that's how we monetize the workouts. The other piece of that we're looking to do is we're going to do free workouts. So what we want to do is we want to create sort of fit camps, boot camps, if you will, so that we can get people introduced to the lifestyle, right? This lifestyle of living healthy, living an active lifestyle. So we are going to, this whole workout thing, this belly to belly means face to face. So we're going to be doing fit camps in LA. We've got a schedule already worked out that we're going to launch in 16, right? We'll be doing fit camps on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Essentially putting people into company presentations and also introducing people to the products, doing sampling at these workouts, right? Getting people to free workouts and saying, listen, you shouldn't have to pay to be healthy. You can pay to eat healthy stuff, but if you just want to be healthy and exercise, you shouldn't have to pay for that. There's plenty of ways to do that. We can come work out and do body weight stuff. We can go for a hike. Basically we can walk down the beach. Whatever we're going to do, we want to create that community and that lifestyle because a lot of times people always want to feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. And from a workout standpoint, it's much easier, although this group is very motivated and self-motivated, right? There's a lot of people that aren't self-motivated. So we have to give them the accountability partners. We have to give them that community feel. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to emulate CrossFit without a $199 price tag and without all the, the movements, right? The clean and jerks and stuff. We want to take the best of what some of these folks have done, and Kathy talked about it earlier, best practices. You guys just staring at my crotch? Hold on one sec. Let me go over here. I just realized that my junk was like right in my face. So I'll stuff over. So what we want to do is we want to take what Beachbody has done really well, what Herbalife's done really well, and the CrossFit piece is really important in terms of promoting the products and promoting the lifestyle for Elevated. So we want to do these free fit camps, boot camps, right? One person shows up, 2 people show up, 3 people show up, say bring a friend, we're working out Wednesday, we're working out Saturday, we're working out Sunday, come check it out. While they're there, they can sample products. Hey, you want to sample some pre-workout? Yeah, I'll sample some pre-workout. What do you think? How was your workout? How'd you feel? Right? So walking through that process, which we can talk a little bit about later. Health tips, this is a big one. We've been releasing a ton of health tips on our Facebook page as we start to accumulate more and more followers. And we want to make sure that we're pushing that information. So it's really that content-rich environment where we're giving a lot of free content to people, giving them a ton of health tips. What they do with it is up to them, right? We want to make sure that at least we're giving and pushing that information out to people. Motivation and mindset, there is going to be a component down the way where we look at sort of a Tony Robbins type model in terms of personal development and mindset and helping people. Because I really think that one of the things that needs to be bridged from a workout standpoint is that combination of sort of working out, physical fitness, and mental fitness. And when you can, there is really nothing in the market that combines both those worlds right now, right? So P90X has Tony Horton. He's really funny. He's entertaining. He's engaging. They got Sean T. He's intense. He takes you through insanity. Blah blah blah. But none of those people are really talking about your goal setting and your morning visualization, your declarations. And there is a place in the market for that. So we wanted to start developing those products late 16, more like 17 probably, where we come up with a really like a if any of you have ever followed Shreds, you ever heard of Shreds? It's a
Yes.
workout company? Okay. So the guy, Arvin, is another best practice we really want to borrow into. Arvin has started doing these sort of mindset, these mental workshops for people. And it's becoming another offshoot, another brand of the business. And so we were thinking, what if we come up with like, master coaches? Tony Robbins does something similar to this, but what if we come up with like master coaches and really focus on the health and fitness space in terms of getting your body right so you can get your mind right, and then we come up with some sort of like a certification course where these people go through the elevated certification course, become a master coach, and then they can move on in that respect. So giving people different avenues, because maybe not everybody wants to be a workout fiend. Not everyone's maybe a bodybuilder, right? Or running up a hill like you are, doing 2-hour leg workouts like Josh. Maybe they just want a little bit of health, but they want to put great things in their bodies, so they're only doing the consumable side of it. Well, what's another avenue that we can get to those people that might be intriguing to them? It might be the personal development and stuff. So we want to take a look at that as well. This community, and then the purpose of giving back. So community, I've talked a little bit about, people that want to commit to the lifestyle. The giving back portion is huge. So one of my clients, I shouldn't say big clients, but one of my clients at Epic Freight Solutions, and we've talked about this a lot, is Tom Shoes. Anyone heard of Tom Shoes? Okay, so Tom Shoes created a.
Oh yeah.
Your red shoes.
Oh,
Tom's Shoes.
So what is it? Buy one, get one. Or
Buy one, get one.
Buy one, get one.
There you go. So they're a client of ours at Epic. And when we talk about borrowing best practices, I've had an opportunity to go into their corporate facility a number of times, and I'm blown away from the energy that place has been able to generate. And I love the concept of sort of the buy one, get one. So they originally did it with shoes, right? So giving shoes to needy children. Now they're doing it with glasses, right? Because they got shades. So buy a pair of shades, they give a pair of sunglasses, or in this case, they're giving prescription glasses to kids in need, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's really, really cool. So we want to borrow that philosophy and put it and integrate it into Elevated. And initially, what we're going to do is a portion of all proceeds are going to go back to charity, right? And that charity is going to come from the field. The field being you guys, right? Anybody who joins the opportunity, we're going to be open to different charitable organizations that we can contribute to. Because what are you put on this earth for? Not to make each other's lives a little bit better, right? And that's a big component that I think some of these companies, as they're just stockpiling huge amounts of cash, they're neglecting that sort of social responsibility that we all have. Just my personal opinion. It's something that we feel very strongly about. My investors are on board with this, the people that invested in Elevated. I mean, Kathy's on board with it. And we are going to go, right now we have Angel Network, which is Danny Kinney, one of the guys you saw. That's the charity, the first charity we're going to donate to. And so any proceeds, right? Obviously we have to get cash profitable, all that stuff. But once we get to that point, we want to take a portion of the proceeds, and that'll be the first charity we donate to in Los Angeles. And then subsequently, we want to have different charities. And obviously, she's got her hospital in Haiti, which is sort of next up on the list that we want to contribute to. But that's a really big component of the company, and it's something that, for me, it's non-negotiable, right? So regardless of any investor, we have other investors we've talked to for Elevated, and they're not really on board with that particular component of it. They love the market, they love the consumables, they love the multi-level marketing, and then they're like, well, wait a minute, why would you take a portion of my proceeds as an investor that would come back to me as a distribution, and why would you give those away? And if that question even comes up in the conversation, then we're talking apples and oranges. We're in different places, which is fine. So that is something that is non-negotiable and something that we're going to make a big push in as we start to become more profitable. Any questions on this? We've talked about the products: plant-based protein powder, all natural pre-workout. There is no sucralose in it. I will tell you that I had 2 different calls with the lab where they asked me to put sucralose in the product. Both times I told them no. They told me, number one, it would reduce the cost of the product. Number two, they said it would taste better. Because if you take out some of the all-natural stuff and then you put in the sucralose, you're real cheap. Sugar, real cheap. So,
At what point can we start taking the product and having booths, whether at Whole Foods or at Spartan Races or at nutritional?
as soon as that product comes in, man, you can do whatever you want.
Okay,
So,
I didn't know if there was, in terms of how much quantity that we have with the product, and how soon we can go.
I think initially there's gonna be a lot of testing, like we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what we don't know.
We get to play
Yeah.
and just figure out how
So
it
basically
works.
about December, it's kind of the idea.
Yeah, so that the chocolate's done, pre-workout should be done by mid-December, so those two products should be complete. The PCA
Did we
round,
change the pre-workout from what we tasted it?
same one.
Let's see.
Yeah, remember there's two?
Right, the pineapple,
There was a tart and there was a sweet.
Yeah.
Right, we went with the sweet.
so we're just doing one.
We're just doing one to launch, yeah.
Are you thinking about doing any kind of New Year's sales or anything like that?
Depends on the product.
To get the name out there, just because.
Yeah, so the New Year's resolutions, there was a huge push for us to get to New Year's resolutions, right? It's like everyone's like, oh, I'm healthy, I want to be healthy, I want to be healthy. And so, absolutely, I'd love to do that. You know,
Just
again,
don't know if it'll be ready.
in the effort, in honoring transparency, I don't know. I mean, at this point, we're the subject of really two things. One is the lab, and two is the website. So the website is being built, and it's starting to look pretty cool. But you know, as I've been told before that I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and so I just this week made some changes to the website, which when you change the whole design, you go push things back. So, you know, I have been, by the way, I have been the biggest roadblock on both the products and then the website.
But it's better to take time and build it the right way, because
Absolutely.
we want it built to last.
And a great example of that is the comp plan. You know, the comp plan, we went to Vegas recently, Kathy and I, and Kathy found some things in the comp plan that it was challenging to explain, right? She just said, I don't quite understand this. How do I tell people about this? Can we move this around? And when you look at things, it's like, I'd rather get it solid now, to her point, and have it done right and lay the great foundation. So if we have to delay launch, and let's say we don't launch until March, which, you know, God forbid it takes that long, but if we don't truly launch and do our soft launch in March, but if that's what it takes to do it right, then that's what we'll do.
I thought soft launch already happened.
No, this is all pre-launch because we haven't really launched anything.
Okay, so the meeting
That was all still pre-launch. We had a number of people that have kind of signed up, that are ready to go, which we're really excited about. I mean, the caliber and quality of people that not only came to the meeting, but then really wanted to invest their time and decide, well, I'm going to do something with this, was incredible. But again, I'm still in a pre-launch phase.
Yeah, I'm not asking in terms of you guys rushing the quality of it.
Yeah.
Because that's the most important part for people to come back and want another bottle and not try and return it for that.
Yeah.
But if you guys do at least have the chocolate available by January to like get some form of, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, to get the out there and advertising, how do you guys plan on going about it?
Great question. So as the products get labeled, and as we get the final quality approval from the lab, we will put them to the market.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to wait until all 4 products are done simultaneously.
Yeah.
We're literally going to launch.
I had an idea. What about as far as athletic advertisement? You could hit up some of your buddies.
Yeah.
You already thought of that.
Oh yeah. So
We got t-shirts we're putting on yet?
yeah. So the apparel stuff the apparel's actually been the easiest part. Ironically, I thought that would be like the last thing. The apparel's the thing we have the most up. So we're doing a huge apparel order next week. Yeah.
So I've had several people ask me about how the online sales or internet component of this will work. And I didn't really have a good answer for them because I didn't know how to articulate, hey, you can't sell online, but you can sell everything yourself.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped me, how should I approach that when people ask me that question?
So they want to resell online?
Correct. They're like, oh, I'd love to sell this on my whatever.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we are going to direct people to sell online through our web portal. So what will happen is, let's just take elevatedfn /Eric /Josh. And we really want them to move through that portal. And one of the big reasons why we want to do that, now here's the deal. It's going to be tough, and it's tough for every company that has a product to stop this. But people are reselling on eBay, people are reselling on Amazon, and we're going to do our best to police that. But at the end of the day, as a member who has purchased the product for resale, you are buying the product.
Right.
So you're buying a product at the discount, and then obviously your discount depends on how much product you bought, and then you can resell that really almost in any way you want. We're just trying to make it easier for you to sell it through our website. And by the way, selling it through our website, as your downline gets bigger, and you're using our web portal, that's how you get to manage your commissions, your bonuses, so that would be my answer. But now if someone just wants to sell retail and they bought it at a 20% discount and they want to mark it up and sell it on Amazon, I guess ultimately that's their choice. We prefer not to. Does that answer your question?
That's
Okay.
That's good enough.
So there's a question on the products. I mentioned these. So good manufacturing process. You had a great question about the organics. And I think some of these certifications that we have for the manufacturing facility, they bridge that gap between certified organic, the people that really care about that, certified vegan, those types of things. We can use some of these other certifications from the lab to use as a social proof on the quality of the products. So phenomenally, I have been blown away by the quality of the lab. I really have. And our first run of products actually went through a lab in Anaheim that we no longer work with that has been shut down by the FDA.
Yeah.
So I sort of feel like I've been on both sides of this fence already early on in this process in the last year.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why the products have been delayed so long is because that original lab, 3 months in, I talked to Kathy about this, we were 3 months down the road, we'd already gotten samples on 2 of the products, we were cruising. This is way back in March. And all of a sudden I got an email from the founder and the owner of the lab, and he said, hey, we've stopped production on all of your stuff, and I think it's best you go talk to the lab. Just blew me away. I said, dude, we're literally coming up on, we're 3 months in the process. I mean, you're gonna crush me. I'm gonna lose 3 months worth of work. The guy went dark on me, and I subsequently found out the reason he went dark on me is he got raided by the FDA. Got shut down. Thank God. I mean, everything happened for a reason, so thank God.
Well, those are the same guys that were trying to keep your proprietary.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind saying the name because it's actually the news now. SK Laboratories in Anaheim. If you get a chance, if you're interested, want to do a little light reading, go ahead and check it out.
Question, in the event that this laboratory, there's other people's,
Their proteins.
other people's.
Can they use
stuff.
our formula?
No.
Not about using our formula.
What if they get shut down?
If they were to be using somebody else, some other company uses them, and they're not doing things right, FDA shuts them down. Do you have a contract or something with them that basically states that you can take your formula and take it
Yes.
somewhere else?
So here's the great thing. Eric brought up a really good point. And I didn't know this when I got into this world, that a lot of the labs do keep your formulas. A lot of labs keep formulas. I have every formula. I can literally show them to you right now. I have every single formula. Everything's finalized. I have all the flavorings done. Everything is literally already given to them, all of them.
But is it illegal for you to use it with another company because you already have?
There's no exclusivity contract with the lab that we use. As a matter of fact, we will, after we go through this.
It's stressful.
Oh, thanks.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's nice.
After we go through this run, I know, she's such a caretaker. Awesome. After we go through this run of products, we will then put everything back out to bid.
With more volume, more scale.
More volume, more scale. So I'll put it back to bid with that lab, and then I'll take that and I'll go to, I already have a lab that so you always want to make sure you got backup plans. So we already have a lab in Valencia that is a backup to our lab in Anaheim. So God forbid something happen or they get behind in production. Let's say we start exploding in June and they can't handle all our volume, right? I want to make sure I have someone that can back it up. So we'll actually send this stuff back out to bid probably in the first quarter next year. Good questions. Has anybody actually checked out any of this stuff on Instagram or Facebook? Have you checked out any of the workouts?
No, just because it seems a lot like calisthenics.
Oh, cut it out, you.
It's like
cut it
picking
out.
up heavy weight and putting it down.
Oh, shit.
He's gonna pick up heavy shit and drop it.
He likes to activate beast mode. Yeah, I get it. I got it. All right, I got it.
We are beast.
We've seen your ads on Facebook. We get it. So if you get a chance, check out the Facebook and the Instagram. And the reason I want you to take a look at that is the precursor to what the online products will look like when you go to the online workouts, when you go to the videos, right? And then the other thing we're doing is when we finalize the products on the kit, we'll have sort of has anyone here ever bought anything from Beachbody, Herbalife, any of the, Eric, you're shaking your head. Okay, what have you purchased before?
Insanity.
You purchased Insanity, okay.
And a hip hop app.
And you have hip hop app, Sean T. Both Sean T products, by the way. Both Sean T products. My wife messed up. Okay, so So two things. Here's a better question. When you purchase from Cutco, right? What is the? Give me like the introductory set where you get a bunch of knives. What would that be called?
Depends how good you are at selling.
Yeah.
What is it like? Can you give me like what is it sort of a beginner pack of knives?
The essentials.
The essentials. Okay. When they get the essentials, they get the knives. Do they get anything else in there?
Block, cutting board.
They get a block, cutting board, scissors, right? Does that get like thrown in, or do you have to buy that as well? Does it depend? It depends how good. I was just gonna say it depends how good you are.
Cutting
It
board,
depends how good you are.
cutting boards are free, basically.
The cutting boards are free. Okay. So I'm bringing up these examples in 2-4. So when you got Insanity, you get the product, then you get the little workout sheet, you get the poster you put up on your wall, right? We want to do the same thing actually on the supplement side. So a couple of things that we want to do is if someone buys an actual Fast Start pack, which Kathy will talk about here in a little bit, when we buy the Fast Start pack, we want to throw in these cards, right? So we want to have our basic workout plan, right? So an upper strength, a lower strength, some sort of a plyo workout, a core workout. We want to throw in little mini cards, right? Physical cards. Okay, so they would have that. We also want to throw in a T-shirt in the Fast Start pack, right? These are the reason I'm going through this explanation is this is what they're going to look like. So this would end up being on like an index card. So somebody that if they're in the gym, they could home gym, they could slap it up there, or if they wanted to go to the park and do it with a buddy, or if they want to go to 24-hour fitness, they could do it. We want to be as sticky as possible. We want to give them. We also want to give them a T-shirt. Fast Start pack is going to end up running about $500. It's going to be just below $500. There's a reason for that. But we are going to, the Fast Start pack will be about $500. So it's going to come with multiple protein powders. It's going to come with pre-workouts, stuff they can sample, stuff that they can sell. We're going to want to make sure that we make them real sticky. So if they get a Fast Start, they'll get a T-shirt, so we'll get a T-shirt size, and then we'll stick in the cards for the workouts. It'll be similar to like giving them a free cutting board. It'll be similar than some of the stuff you got from Insanity. So, make sense? Okay, cool. So check this out so you can get at least the look and feel for what we're trying to do. Here's a lower one. Josh, is that you?
That should be. I can do it.
Okay. So this is where I'm going to stop for a second, and I do want to hear. I've had a chance to meet a few of you, so I want to hear some personal stories. I am always curious what people are currently doing, how they're feeling about what they're currently doing. I know I sat up here and bared my soul a little bit to you guys in terms of my background and my current situation, but I always like to, besides Kathy and myself, if anyone else just wanted to share how you're doing in your personal situation. I got an opportunity to obviously hear you a little bit, so I would say maybe these 4 people right here, because I talked to Eric at length when he was out in LA. But like Isaac, your personal situation, what are you doing? Give me your background. How are things going?
Okay. I sell knives. So am I answering the question why you, why this?
Yeah.
Is that pretty much what I'm doing?
Yeah.
You know, I've made a huge shift in my life recently, just focusing on how I feel, you know, and making sure I feel good. I'll eat something and I ask myself, how do I feel after? You know, and I'm starting to realize that a lot of my old life habits were just not the way to go. I would eat something and feel groggy. And I'm very passionate about living life right now, doing what makes me happy. And what makes me happy is feeling good and helping others feel good as well. And I'm looking for different ventures right now. I'm looking for things that, best way to put it is to get me inspired again, you know, and health and nutrition is something that really gets me going. Because back in July this past year, me and my fiance separated, and I had 2 options. I could either just crash and say poor me, or I could hit the gym and work on myself. And that's actually when everything started for me. You know, I've been committed to the gym. I have not missed a week. I have not. I mean, the longest I've gone without going to the gym was maybe 4 days, and that's because I was just so busy with other things. But like, I've committed to the gym. I've committed to eating healthier. I've committed just to being better and feeding my mind the right things. And that's what I want to do for other people as well. That's what gets me passionate. That's what gets me excited, and that's what gets me going. Like when I think about my future, I think about living healthy, living right, being able to travel. I think it's so sad when people everyone talks about, oh, I want to go be able to travel and do all these things, but I don't feel good, or I got all these medical conditions and things like that. And I'm just like, man, all that can be prevented if you just take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
They're focused on the now, they're not focused on the future. The thinking that America has right now is just completely wrong. and I want to help. I really do. I look at my parents, and it depresses me when I see my dad and he just sits on the couch all day. I'm like, Pop, is this really what you want to do? Like, you're hitting 55 or something like that.
Young man.
Just he feels old, is what he says. And I'm like, Dad, you have an opportunity to change that around. Same with my mom. And so yeah, when I think about what gets me excited, what gets me passionate, it's feeling good, being happy with yourself and feeling good with yourself.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing it.
Cool. I appreciate you sharing. Mike the Avocado Man, I do want to hear maybe a little bit of you.
What sparks interest in this?
Yeah, what sparks interest in Elevated and other ventures?
So even just from a consumer standpoint, I like the idea of having healthy, good tasting nutritional products. And then and if it's something that I can do to help people, even just part-time around all my other ventures that I'm taking on, something I can do part-time to help other people. I know the value also in a model like this, where even if you're kind of part-time, if you get someone who on your downline takes off, then even if you're still pretty part-time, they're producing at a high level and you get to bring things in from it. So I know there's a lot of potential, a lot of opportunity. And also I'm just at the point in my life where even though I'm taking on other ventures, I want to be producing more income, more of an ability to save and create the lifestyle. So I'm putting out a lot of value, I feel like, without bringing in a lot of creating the lifestyle that I want to create. So I want to work on that a little bit too.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing. How about one of you guys?
Well, I'm a physician assistant, so, in the medical field, and I majored in exercise science. So, growing up, I thought I ate pretty healthy. I was always in sports. My mom always cooked meals. We maybe eat out once a week, with being involved in a lot of sports and activities. But as I went through the exercise science program, I learned a little bit about how your body works when you're exercising, and I learned a little bit about nutrition and metabolism. And I didn't really start getting into it until PA school. I started actually going to the gym because after high school, stopped, playing sports. So I'd go for a run every now and then just to try to stay in shape. But I didn't start getting back into the gym until about around when I was in PA school. But I noticed after learning about everything and just applying, all the diseases people have. Thankfully my parents are pretty healthy, but my grandfather had diabetes, another grandfather had diabetes. So it could definitely potentially happen, and it developed later on in life. And my family's European, so they like bread and sweets. So I had a big sweet tooth growing up, and I knew, I'm like, this probably isn't going to be good long term. So I've definitely changed that, and now I look at sweets and I don't even crave it anymore. Whereas before, I'd look at it and I'm like, oh, maybe just one cookie, okay, maybe another, maybe another. Now I don't even look at it. And then the healthcare too. Everyone's always bringing sweets to work, but I'm good. But I eat, very, very healthy and clean, and I've definitely noticed a difference. Even though I've always been active and healthy before, it's such a difference. Trying to cut out as much processed. There's still a little bit of processed foods, but still cutting out as much as I can. No more 100-calorie snack packs, nothing like that. I'm like eating raw nuts. I have a little layer bars, and everyone at work, they're like, Kate, her nuts, Kate, her layer bars. They know what I eat in my snack, and I'm always drinking water. they see what I'm eating. I have like my chicken, my veggies, like quinoa or sweet potatoes. They're like, oh, you're always so healthy. I'm like, well, I tried, and so I've felt a big difference, and I've actually slimmed down, and I'm starting to build muscle, which I've never done before.
Awesome.
And it's all clean and natural. I don't really do anything. Josh will have a protein shake every now and then, but I love the fact that you guys want to make products that are all natural, because I'm reading the labels and I'm like reading all the stuff, and I'm trying to omit all those bad ingredients.
Sure.
Because also, going back to the medical standpoint, with all these processed foods, you also create high levels of inflammation in the body. So that's also another reason why people are having heart disease. And people with autoimmune disorders, if they have high levels of inflammation, they have flare-ups like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and all that kind of stuff. So everyone with all kinds of diseases can definitely have better lifestyles, and just by eating a lot cleaner and healthier. So making better choices. So.
Yeah.
That's what I'm passionate about, and I can start seeing a difference in my workplace by just starting with me. Because even some of my coworkers are now starting to go to the gym and eat a little bit healthier, and I try to encourage them and push them. So that's why I'm into it.
It's cool. Let me finish up with you, big boy.
I was just a born specimen.
Yeah, finish up with
Did you just say you're a born
I
specimen?
was just a born specimen. Actually, if you know me, some of you, I was actually like 115 pounds wet as a kid. I just couldn't put on any kind of weight whatsoever. I finally got into high school. All the guys were working out. Like, man, they got muscles. That's awesome.
Then he got huge.
So then they would tell me, oh, you gotta take protein shakes. So I started taking Isopure. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah.
I took that for a couple of years, and I never understood what I should eat. So then like protein. So I would go work out twice a day, and go to McDonald's and get 5 double cheeseburgers, fries, and I would just bulk. And I bulked to the point that I got to 230 pounds from 115 starting high school. So I ended up being a big boy, a strong boy, but a big one at that. After that, after high school, I got into the fire department, and I realized that I need to eat differently, but I still didn't know what to eat. I guess you can say it wasn't until cake came around, 2011, that I started to learn what it meant to really eat clean. And she's very about just checking labels and greens and nothing processed or the least amount of processed. I'm like, I want my burgers, I want my pizza, I want my beer. But I've definitely seen such a big life change in me and energy boost since then. Matter of fact, the muscles came to see me.
You give it some years or what?
He's got enough to go. He's got enough to go around.
But yeah, it got me that much more fired up, seeing her, training her, and her helping me with nutrition. And now it's become a lifestyle that we just love. Like our refrigerator is nothing but fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, lean meats, lean fish. That's it. I mean, we have our Trader Joe's pizzas in the freezer. That's sometimes once a week.
It's okay. Everything in moderation. I think it's okay.
Exactly. Everything in moderation. But yeah, we still have a good balance. We have a great balance. But through that, we've shown our friends and people that we both work with. Like every morning, at 6 o'clock in the morning, I shift. We start at 7:30 work. 6 in the morning, we'll go in. I'll work out with 5 guys, and we'll train all together. We'll just talk about fitness foods. We'll eat right together all day. Try and hold each other up. Unless somebody else is cooking, then we like crap. But we try and help each other out. So that's what. And it's just my fire, man. Seeing people better themselves. One big thing for me was my best friend, which is my father. He was overweight with diabetes, and the best thing I ever seen was I was able to give him a present of giving him a bicycle, and through that he lost over 100 pounds, and he lost diabetes, no longer diabetic.
That's awesome.
So seeing that also like, just filled me that I could do a lot more out there. I want to. So
Very cool.
It's my realm.
I like it.
For me to go last.
Did you have anything you wanted to share?
I mentioned, I added a couple things already. I guess you're right.
Am I good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't mind Kathy, she's got her own plans.
I'm a big supplement buff. I love researching and learning about all the new things, and that and training, life training. I believe that you got to stay consistent with it. Touched kind of on what Josh did with his family friend. My best friend was 285 pounds just a little over a year ago, and he showed up at my wedding. Just over 2 years ago, showed up at my wedding, which was a year ago, weighing a lean 209. And he just came to me, we were walking on the beach one day. He was like, man, I really want to look like you, man. And that's my day one best friend. So I was like, all right, T, well, just come with me, man. Like, come to the gym with me. I'll set you up on a meal plan. Let's do this damn thing. I promise I got you. I was looking in his eyes. It was kind of romantic, bromance. On the beach, I was like, I got you, bro.
Did you embrace with a kiss or?
No.
Okay.
It was the bro hug.
It's okay. It's fine. Yeah, just
It was a shirtless bro
A
hug.
shirtless
We were both
bro.
getting wet.
nipples touching and everything.
Yeah,
We get it. We
yeah.
get it. No judgment here. No judgment.
So, and after just 2 months of training and eating right, he kind of went on his own thing. He was able to take what he learned from me and incorporate it to his own scheme. And I told him from day one, the main thing is consistency, and you got to be a go-getter, man. You got to want to try and one-up it every time, and that's exactly what he did. So that was really cool to see that, considering that's my best friend. So he was my best man. And back to supplements. I had transposition of the main arteries when I was at MFIT. And up until recently, like I've been doing it as much as my wife and I just got our first house. And before all that rigmarole, I would research day in, day out, new supplements, found out that MSM helps repair damaged cartilage and or tissue for organs or whatever. Just talking to a bodybuilder dude, super jacked, he competes. Kind of competitions that steroids are actually, they want you to be on them. And I was like, well, man, other than that, what do you do? And I told him my deal, and he says, try some MSM. I'm willing to bet teaspoon a day, 3 months. That I have a little tear in one of my pulmonary valves. That'll probably heal up. Went to my cardiologist, and I was told as long as that hole never gets any bigger, I'll be fine. When my most recent checkup, it actually got smaller.
Nice, that's awesome.
So I'm all about researching supplements. That's why I'm really down to hop on board with this. So, and help the company grow.
That's awesome. Well, we'll probably tap into some of your knowledge then on the supplement side. So that's awesome. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate everybody sharing some of their story. I'm excited. I think that when we talk about all of that combined with, this just fell out, Kat. All right. When we combine sort of all those whys, and we've heard it enough. I mean, any of you have gone through the Tony Robbins training, we talk about having a big enough why. You probably just went through that at UPW, and obviously you're living it because you've been immersed in it. So having a big enough why is extremely important. I think from a motivation standpoint, in terms of looking at this opportunity, and I know Kathy's going to talk here in a minute about the comp side of it. The comp side is great, right? We've done a very good job with the Sheffield group of developing what they have deemed to be a world-class comp plan. And the comp plan will only get better as the company grows and gets more profitable, right? So as the company grows and gets more profitable, there's more opportunities for us to do different things inside of the comp plan. So that's great. And I'm not discounting the money piece of it at all. And I know something you said really resonated with me when you said you feel like you're presenting so much value in the marketplace. You feel like you're not necessarily maybe getting the returns that you were looking for, maybe even deserve. So we want to make sure we're taking care of that from an elevated standpoint. I think the big piece, though, from motivation is a lot about what you guys talked about in terms of the passion, right? Having a real purpose. So when people, and this has been studied, if you guys have ever read Daniel Pink's book, Drive, they've talked about this sort of new motivation, this sort of 21st century motivation. really boils down to three things. It boils down to having a purpose, right? Being able to grow, making sure that you're making a difference, that you're growing personally, that you feel like you're accomplishing something. And then the last piece is the autonomy, right? Making sure that someone's not putting their thumb right on the back of your head and driving your behaviors on a daily basis. Autonomy is incredibly important. I think that is one of the things that's attracted me to this business model that I haven't used in any of my previous businesses, is the fact that you can really dive into all three of those components, giving people the autonomy that they're looking for, giving them, I think we've already done that we talk about what the group is interested in terms of health and nutrition and living longer, living happier. That piece, man, the purpose piece seems like it's taking care of itself, really helping other people. And then growing, right? This is one of those businesses where you're constantly growing, you're constantly evolving, you're learning new things. When you're getting healthier, you're growing, right? Just in that piece alone, when you're dropping from 285 pounds down, or you're helping your buddy, right, go from 2 to 209 on lean muscle. There's just so much growth there. So it's a really interesting opportunity in that sense. It really combines all three of those sort of intrinsic motivations. So any questions on that? All right, I'm gonna breeze through this.
Yeah.
So you guys, just so you understand, these are the meat and potatoes of the actual business component of it, right? So online social media, social selling. The social selling aspect is the new age term for multi-level marketing. So a lot of multi-level marketing companies are no longer calling themselves multi-level or direct marketing. They're using this term social selling. So we have adopted that. The free Live Elevated Fit Camps, that's a big component to what we're going to do. We're going to teach people how to run those fit camps, right? And there's an autonomy aspect to it. You can run your own fit camp. You can take a buddy into the gym. But what we want to do is we want to create a structure. We realize that from a training standpoint, it's important to give people proper training, give them a concept of how to do the business right. So we're really going to focus on that. This piece is huge. This has been the single greatest development in Herbalife's growth over the last 5 years. They have come up with these nutrition clubs. They're calling them nutrition clubs. And this is the reason why the company went from, as a publicly traded stock in the $2 billion range up to, over $5 billion, and why the stock has had such a rise under Michael Johnson, the CEO. So we want to borrow that best practice. Nutrition education, this is big on Kathy's list in terms of doing, maybe, and again, everybody's got their own way of doing the business, so maybe doing cooking classes, maybe doing nutritional education at the house or at an office and that type of thing. So we've got a lot of different, and to your point as well about some of my buddies, volleyball is right there on the list. I've got a couple of buddies that are pushing for Rio. We want to make sure we get them involved. April Ross, we're approaching her as well to hopefully get her on board in terms of ruining the product. April Ross is a silver medalist. I'm probably going to be a gold medalist in Rio. So we want to make sure we get her on board. But anyways, we don't know if they're going to say yes or no, but we're still going to approach all these folks from a professional volleyball standpoint, because there is a huge nutrition aspect to that as well. And then obviously the elevated on-demand will be the online workouts that we're going to push to the marketplace next year in 2016. Any questions on this? Well, there's a lot of stuff we can talk about the marketing, but I don't want to bore you with any details and get you bogged down there. But if you have any questions. What's that?
An app that we can access all this with.
So the website is going to be, so the website is responsive, it's mobile responsive. So when we build out the website, we literally don't have to spend the money to build an app right now. It's 100% mobile responsive. So that's a good question. I don't know if I need to talk too much about this. I will touch on the fact, because this question has been asked a lot. I get it. I have lived this myself, being on the AVP. I have lived the stigmatism of multi-level marketing. I know exactly the objections that people throw, why people poo-poo it. I totally get the whole pyramid scheme. I understand all that. Doesn't mean crap to me. I can care less. I really don't care what anybody else thinks. From a business standpoint, I've done 2 pretty successful traditional businesses. The startup costs outside of the product component of what we're doing, because the products have been very expensive. Outside of that, in terms of the distribution model, it's as effective as it gets. If you get the right people with the right message, the right product in their hands, they're really passionate about it, and they want to share it with their friends and family and share it with their network, it can grow like wildfire. And so some of the fastest growing companies in America are multi-level marketing companies. Beachbody being a great example of that, over $1 billion now. And one of the things that I'm always cognizant of is, how many businesses fail within the first 5 years. I mean, the SBA is like 95% of all businesses fail within between years 1 and 5. So when we were looking at different, this was a business I was going to do regardless. The distribution model, we looked at all the angles. We looked at going traditional in the retail markets, right, going out to the GNCs of the world. We looked at maybe doing 100% online, because there are companies that are really crushing it in the online space, like a Shreds. Shreds is crushing it. Live Fit, which is a really popular workout brand right now. These brands have gone 100% online, so we looked at that model. We looked at doing online sales from an Amazon component in terms of what they take as a cut. So we looked at all the different distribution models, and when it came right down to it, combining the online component with a direct selling piece, that face-to-face piece, to us is the way to grow the thing as fast as possible, right? It combines the best of the online, all the online marketing stuff that's available to Instagram millionaires, right? The Dan Bilzerians of the world, those marketing tactics that those types of people are using, Shreds are using. So we want to make sure that we don't want to neglect that, but at the same time, the multi-level marketing space is just an unbelievable distribution model to get it out as fast as possible. I can give you a ton of examples as well if you wanted them, but that's why we decided to go with this specific distribution model, if anybody has any questions on that. And then the personal development aspect of it is so important. It's just ingrained in the business. For some reason, personal development is ingrained in the multi-level marketing business. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you've got to have some real mental, like the biggest battle on a daily basis is the 6 inches between your ears when it comes to multi-level marketing, right? Because you're direct selling, you're calling your friends and family, people are rejecting you constantly. There's just this constant mental battle that's going on. So that personal development component, right, the Tony Robbins and Robin Sharmas, that ability to program yourself with the right mindset is like critically important to your success. So that to me is very, very attractive. In my world, in the freight forwarding world, it doesn't really exist. You're moving boxes, you're talking to guys in the back dock. Like, if I start mentioning Tony Robbins and them, they give me this sort of weird look on my face. Like, who is that? Why are you talking to me? This is mumbo jumbo. Whereas this business, literally the two of them are just copacetic.
You said no model on how to sell like Cutco does.
Are you talking about like a complete training manual, or what? How do you mean? That's a good question. Somebody else might have the same question. So what do you mean?
Just the way Cutco operates.
Just how to present it, how to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Great question.
The presentation aspect.
Absolutely.
Trained on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're as a matter of fact, Kathy's boyfriend. Jonathan? No? Okay, sorry. Kathy's friend. You got to tell me these things before. I mean, literally, you're hanging me out the door. Set me up for success. But one of Kathy's friends that she introduced me to has been helping us with sort of crafting that message. But more importantly, I've been crafting the message with Tom Witt. So Tom Witt is one of the investors. Tom Witt is a former Intel executive who has joined us at Elevated, and we've been working on this tirelessly. So we'll have a full sort of soup to nuts, beginning to end sales process. Good question. Who's our target market? I'm gonna skip right over this, and you guys know what the target market is. Technology preview, we don't need to talk about that, but if anyone wants to see the technology or see some screenshots of it, I can certainly show you that. Let's talk about the financial opportunity, just only because I'm also running short on time. I have to catch a flight, and I want Kathy to have an opportunity to chat about this. So, again, I didn't come up with this comp plan. The comp plan was something that I worked hand in hand with the Sheffield Group out of Scottsdale, Arizona. As I mentioned earlier, they have done some of the best compensation plans in the market in multi-level marketing. They've worked with essentially 30 of the top 100 multi-level marketing companies. And we wanted to come up with something that was world-class, and especially understand that we're a startup, right? We're not as big as some of these other companies. So we have to make sure that we're keeping enough pennies in the piggy bank to grow the company and get growth long-term. So we do some things. So we've worked tirelessly. It took us almost 6 months to come up with this. And I think we've come up with a very effective comp strategy to attract just about anybody. Anybody who wants to be part-time sometime, somebody that wants to be full-time, people that just want to be customers. I think we've really covered the gamut. And this is where I'm going to turn it over to Kathy, but I do want to say there's 8 ways that we've set up initially outside of an executive comp plan, which we actually have built in to our software, but we won't turn it on until the company's profitable. We have 8 current ways, which is fast start bonuses, bonuses on 6-packs, retail commission, bonus value for the people that you sign up, check match bonuses. We have level bonuses all the way down, in some of these cases, infinity bonuses, which is one of the most attractive parts of an MLM, is getting paid off of. The analogy that I use is this. A real estate agent goes and sells a home, and they sell, let's say they make a $16,000 commission. That's awesome, but then the clock restarts, and you have to go sell another home, and then another home, and then another home. What if I told you you could sell the house, you'd only get $100 on the upfront, but every time they open their front door, every single time for the lifetime they live in that house, they open the front door, you got 5 cents, right? Over the 5 years or whatever, every single time they go in and out of the house, that ends up growing right, to an astronomical number. That is the power of compounding inside of a multi-level marketing business, whereas in a traditional business, most of the time my sales professionals, that's a great example at Epic Freight Solutions, if they bring on somebody or refer me somebody, they don't get any money off that. I typically give them like a $250 or $500 referral bonus, and then they're off and running. And they still have to go out and sell every single day. They're like a hamster on the wheel. And yeah, they've got some reoccurring business, and yeah, they've got some customers that'll use them every day. But at the end of the day, they have to keep going out there and sort of turning the crank. In a multi-level marketing business, you start building your organization. As that organization builds their organization, it becomes much more altruistic throughout the entire process of everybody earning, right? As basically the performers start to earn more and more and more. And you're lifting people up, you're growing, you're training, you're developing, you're mentoring people, which I think everybody in this room probably has some experience in that at some level. And so then everybody benefits that. And that's one of the reasons why I think this model is very, very attractive and why I've gone away from that as we start Elevated versus some of the other business I've done in the past. I'm going to turn it over to Kathy. I'm going to show you the comp plan. So I'm going to pull up just a real quick one sheet. Kathy's gone through this a number of times. She's just better at it, quite frankly, than I am. So I'm going to turn it over to her. If you have any questions, I'm going to direct them to Kathy.
Okay, yeah, we didn't have the papers printed out, so we'll go through it. So this
We're going to
is,
send it to everybody electronically.
yeah, I will email. And did you go through what's in the products as well, like what's on there right now?
No, we can't move on to it. I mean,
Yes.
I think we, I feel like we covered it though.
Okay, well, we can send that out so you can
Yeah.
see, but it's a question my sister was waiting to see, and I don't know that we went through all the detail, but we posted this up here. So, you know, with everyone will be in different places, but for anyone who, you know, for the family and friends who did want to earn income, you know, there's just simple things that you'll go through, and then there'll be people, you know, that'll take off that if you decide, Aaron, you're like, I want to just start a gym, or I want to do whatever, I'm going to do exercises. And my vision is hopefully in some years, we're going to have people who decide to open up, you know, fit gyms like an Orange Theory, you know, and they're doing exercises and they're doing classes. And ideally, like for me in my head, I'm like, man, I want there to be a kitchen because we can also have cooking classes there, you know, and just like where they can learn everything about living healthier lives. And so having something like that. So down the line, there's definitely people that are excited about that more as, you know, some as a hobby, others as a career, you know, and it can definitely be a career. While he said there'll be a lot of people that are just kind of, you know, they'll share the product, share with other people, and kind of build their teams from that, or they'll really be excited about the team building aspect of it. So I've never done I've always been very turned off also by like anything multi-level. I've never done to this day anything like it. And I like this because it's not a structure that's based on you have to recruit or the company dies. And that's something that we had talked about as well. In many of the, you know, pyramid and multi-level, the company thrives based on recruitment, where if the recruiting stops, like there's no company, you know, where for us, we want to build an amazing brand, an amazing product that will grow. People will know, the people will use, and that there'll be awareness of it regardless of, you know, if the recruiting stops, the company doesn't stop. You know, it's almost like it helps us get off to a fast start of spreading the word, and then through word of mouth, people are just going to hear about it, learn about it, and it'll grow. So we know that by having the opportunity for people to earn money off of it, obviously it can grow at a much higher level, and it can spread a lot, it'll just spread quicker. So we've, John and the group have worked hard on this, and I had the opportunity to meet them last month when I was over there for the day, and really walk through to say, okay, we said, what are the different ways? So one, you know, you sign up, basically it's a membership fee, you're a member, you get 20% off all your stuff, cool? If any of your friends or family want to buy from your website, you earn 20% off of them, or they can sign up as well, and so that way they have their 20% off their products, all right? So that would be, to me, the easiest way to explain it is like a Costco membership, cool? So you're signed in there. Now, there's a team building aspect and a different, you know, earning avenue for those who are excited about that. And there's 3 phases of it. You know, one, you start the team building aspect. So it has here, there's something called, we're calling it 6-packs, developing 6-packs. So it's a 6-pack. You have 2 people that have 2 people, all right? Creating a lot of Josh's stomachs, yeah. But you have 2 people that have 2 people. And that creates your 6-pack that are fast start qualified. So fast start qualification happens either when someone in their career has sold $1,000 worth of product, or are we saying that's within their first month? I believe it's in their first month. So they get fast start qualified if they sold $1,000 in their first month, or if they can also purchase a fast start pack, which he was talking about earlier, which is cool because they have different products for them, products to show. There's the workouts and the t-shirts. It's just like a little pack, like welcome pack, and you have your stuff for you and to share with other people. So there's a fast start pack. So it's not a requirement. Someone doesn't have to buy that, but if they wanted to, that's there, and it gets them fast start qualified quicker, which none of the level bonuses will happen until someone has sold $1,000 plus in product, I believe, or they're fast start qualified. So whenever they've passed 1,000 in career sales or they're fast start qualified, now they're eligible for the level bonuses. All right, so the first thing is just when you build your fast start, 2 people that are fast start qualified have 2 people that are fast start qualified. You earn you earn $400 basically, $50 off the first 2, like the guys right under you, and then 75 off each of their people. So one-time thing, yeah. It's just if you build a 6-pack, they're all fast start qualified. It's just an extra bonus. So this has nothing to do with your commissions and level bonuses. It's just a one-time you built a 6-pack. They're all qualified. Boom, you made $400. Then
you can get that bonus off any fast 6-pack that you sell off that. Right? So each month that you do that,
anytime you build a 6-pack,
6-packs if you want, you still get the bonus.
Yeah, so you don't just get for one 6-pack, right? You can have as many 6-packs as you want, but that's a bonus that you get with the 6-packs. Then when you've completed one, like so you complete one 6-pack, you get a $100 bonus. You complete a second 6-pack, you get a $200 bonus. You complete a third one, you get a $300 bonus. And from then on out, anytime you have a 6-pack, if you get a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, and whatever that is, whether it's in 6 months, a year, 2 years, whenever you build your 6-packs, anytime after 3, you always get $300 for every 6-pack completion, like as you completed it. So really, initially it's $500 for the first 6-pack, $600 for the second 6-pack, and then $700 for each one thereafter. Because when you look at the 50, 50, 75, like you have to look at the paper. But just for the 6 people, yeah, for the 6 people, each one has the $50.75. But then for completing that 6-pack, there's the additional $100, $200, or $300. So basically, for every 6-pack, $400 to $700 that you can earn. Past the third one, $700 for each 6-pack that's completed. And so you'll see the breakdown of that. So that's just an extra bonus for completing 6-packs.
What kind of people that you bring in?
You have 2, they have 2.
Exactly, and when they have their own 6-packs, you get money up for theirs.
No,
There's nothing.
that's in levels. That's in levels. Cool. So you have 2 people that have 2 people. That's where you get your 6-pack bonuses. Cool. So that's that.
I have 3 people. 2 of my people get 2 people. That's a package. And then this guy gets 2 people, and then I get.
You need to find
else.
another
I
person.
need to find somebody else, and they get 2 people. Then
That's another 6-pack.
You find 2 that gets 2.
Yeah.
Cool. Is that clear on those? That's those bonuses. And then, so that's the first thing. It's just you're always, you have 20% off just anything you buy, or you earn 20% off anything that buys from your stuff. And then you have those 6-part bonuses. Then once you're fast start qualified, you've sold $1,000, people have bought from your website over $1,000 of stuff, or if you got the fast start pack, now you get into your level bonuses, Josh. So this is what you're talking about. The people underneath is the level bonuses. So that is, it has your management phase. I had it called different things, but basically how this works is anyone that you brought in, you get 5%, and anyone that's in your lines 1 through 4, you get 5%. So basically you're earning 10% off anyone in your lines 1 through 4. The reason we have it split 5 and 5 is that sometimes, or maybe someone else, one of the people you bring in, you don't put them on your line, you put them on someone else's, but like you're still gonna get your 5, and then whatever level they're in, that if it's up to 6, up to 4, it's 5%. Once it's level 5 or lower, it's 2%. Okay.
What if you like the way you perform? You want to bring one to be in top 4? Is that possible?
No, there's
It's not like that.
no, it's not like that.
So your
So
first 4,
you have your people, because you can just keep building your 6-packs, but you'll learn the strategy stuff. We'll talk about at a different time in terms of strategizing. But you just sometimes like a lot of people I want to put them on my first level. I want them to be more 6-packs. But then there's someone that I'm like, I don't know if they're going to do much, and I want to help you with your 6-pack or something, so I put them in there. You're not going to get a 6-pack completion bonus for that group because you didn't bring them all in, but you're still going to have them in your levels and level bonuses. And for me, it doesn't matter if I put them directly under me or I put them under you on my level 3, because I earn 5% whether they're on my level 1, 2, 3, or 4. So whichever level they're in, I'm still earning 5% off of them, so it doesn't matter. You know, but if it's someone who's going to be more active, I want them at the top because they're going to build a whole other tree. If it's just someone, you know, to kind of help this person fill a spot or fill a sixth path, then, you know, that rolls from there. Which I can ask Mike, because I'm trying to think he was explaining this to me. So I'm like, well, if I give someone else a person and I place them, do they not get the $75 bonus because they didn't bring them in? Do they still get the 6-pack completion bonus? So I'm going to ask him that.
Yeah, wouldn't it be a separate entity from a 6-pack? I would think that you wouldn't just plug someone. I would think they'd be like, no, they can be another start to another 6-pack.
Yeah.
I still want to leave that open to get a bonus.
Strategy stuff, I'm still going to sit and discuss with them. So this is where we're at right now. So we've got so levels 1 through 4, you're earning 5% off anyone in any of those levels, right, from your downline. From 5 on, it's 2%. All right, until there's a director. When there's a director, you only get paid for 4 more levels deep, and then the pay stops from that tree. Okay, so you might be like, oh, I don't want a director. I don't want to stop it, but you do, because as you develop directors, that goes into the executive bonuses, and there's like a pool of all the money of the company. That 1% of all the money goes into that pool, and that gets split amongst the top people each year. So that gets really big on that end. So developing directors is a good thing. So anyways, you've got 5% off anyone you enroll, 5% for these levels underneath, and then from levels 5 on is 2%. So that's just your level bonuses.
And this is just 5% off the product sales, just to be clear, correct?
Yeah, anything they're selling.
Cool.
Now, once you've hit management phase, it's like the third, you'll see like the third one. Now you're eligible as I think it's called unit manager or whatever the name is, okay? When you're in the management phase, which is third, that's why I wanted to put what's number 5 in the management phase, I wanted to put it in the executive phase, like call it management executive phase, because there's one thing is the 6-pack, right? There's bonus for that, cool, whatever. Then there's your level bonuses, right? 5% anyone you bring in, 5% off levels 1 through 4, 2% on out. And then there's the management executive that when someone's a unit man, like when you're a manager, you get a 10% match on your guys' checks that you brought in. So if you made a check for $300, I'm gonna get an extra $30 on mine. You know, you made $1,000, I'm gonna make an extra $100 on mine. You made anyone that you enrolled. So any of your enrollees in your downline that like someone that you brought in. So like for instance, I bring you Papa, right? But you're one of my people of my 6-pack, and you bring on 2 people. You bring in Jeb, you bring in her. I'm not gonna get a check percent match on Jeb and Kate, but I'm gonna get a check percent match on you because I enrolled you. Does that make sense? So on anyone that you personally brought in that's your enrollee, you're gonna get a 10% match on their paychecks when you've reached manager status.
So does that paycheck include all the money that he makes off of the 5% demo?
That's my question.
John,
Say that again.
so like his check is his percentages off his whole downline. You're gonna get, yeah, it includes all that. Whatever
Not
his
just
pay,
product sales.
whatever his paycheck, it's paycheck match, correct? It's not product sales match.
Yeah, it's literally a check match. So whatever the check is that person gets, that's what the 10% check match is. So if your check is the easiest example is $1,000 check, it's 10% of that.
No matter whether it's from product sales or the downline.
So I have 10 people underneath me that each make $1,000 check, I get an extra $1,000.
Yes. You get 10% of a check match on those people.
All right.
Yep. And then the other
And that
thing
is-
is the ambassador pool, which we don't have the details yet.
So as we were doing the plan, because we realized that the average markup in an MLM is 8 to 10 times product cost, and we realized we can't do that because our product cost is significantly higher. Like our product cost is almost 1,000% higher than what a girl would put in one of their teachings.
Mm-hmm.
So what we realized is that check match ends up becoming for the business builders, that becomes the true wealth component. I mean, all of this ends up being a nice income, quite frankly, probably more than the average income that any American can make that job. But that check match is where if you build a substantial organization where you're going to see huge checks.
I got 2 questions. 1, do we need to buy into this company at all? And 2, when do we get to sample the products that way? Because I'm the kind of guy, all this sounds awesome, I'm down, I'm ready to go, but I want to know what I'm throwing out there. I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to put a scoop of the BC double A's in my mouth in front of this guy and be like, this is the only stuff I take.
Absolutely. So the question has 2 components. So the first one is you have to buy on a company. Yes. So there's a distributor. There is a distributor fee. We're calling it a membership fee.
That's the $50.
And that is the $50. Now, every single.
That alone is impressive, by the
Well,
way. Amway tried to get me, and it was I don't remember if it was $250 or $300, but it was.
But the
one of
fast start
those
pack,
two.
it's like, but it's once you're fast start is when you start earning all the levels. So that is $500 for the fast start pack, or you've sold $1,000.
But you could also, you could literally get into the company for your membership fee of $50. You can buy one thing of protein. You can try the protein. You can buy one thing of BCA and try it.
And when you're a member, you automatically save anyway.
20%.
So even if we have customers that aren't members, they may not be saving that 20% yet, but our goal will be to get
To
them
help
to become members.
They also could do, you also could do an auto ship. So some of them might not want to be a member, right? They might not want to. You might have a customer that says, listen, I don't want the discount, just put me on an auto ship program. The auto ship program comes with a discount. We don't have a quote unquote preferred customer program. We don't have here's
That's
the deal.
smart though.
We don't have the profitability right now to have a preferred customer program and to do the comp plan for the reps that we have in the field. So what we do is we set up an auto ship and say, you're going to get a discount if you decide you want auto ship. So that is our equivalent of a preferred customer program. Okay. And there's going to be people like you, and I am the same way. I try everything.
Yeah.
So there's going to be people that say, listen, I don't mind doing the business, and maybe I'll buy the fast start pack because then I can have my multiple canisters to sell, or I make 20% retail, and sample some stuff. But before I get into all that, I'll sign up as a member, get my discount. I'm gonna buy one thing and pre-workout and see how it works.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of
One
the
thing of protein, see how it works.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we can all be compassionate about it, but there's no purpose there. The compassion's just gonna fall short. So for me, I need to make sure that product is on point.
And
that's where the purpose comes in.
And here's the other thing, and I've told Kathy about this. Kathy alluded to it right at the beginning when she said that the company, so here's where the majority of the multi-level marketing companies, in my opinion, they're doing it all wrong. And that is, they don't make it about the products. They make it about recruiting.
Absolutely.
Right? That is the number one mistake that all these companies have made. And it's been the number one turnoff. And I think Kathy said it, you said it, or Amway. I've been approached by a ton of people. It is the number one turnoff for me. It's not about the product. It's always been about the recruiting aspect of it. And for us, and she and I talked at length about this, you need to be a product of the products in order to do the business. Mm-hmm. To me, it almost goes in that same bucket as the giving component of what we're doing. When we become profitable, we're going to get money. I also feel like it's non-negotiable that if you want to come into the business and do the business with us, you better be a product of the products. So if you're not buying product, taking product, if you're not selling product, and all you want to do is recruit for an organization, that's not going to fit for us. We're not going to allow that. So
you got to be compassionate with the purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. And you need to be a product of the products. Like I take a protein shake every day for breakfast, right? So as soon as that thing gets labeled, my protein in my cabinet will be elevated protein, right? It will be in there, and I'll take that every single day. And that's to your point, right? I'm not going to be selling you a Mercedes and driving a BMW. That makes sense. That makes no sense.
For instance, when I do get on board with this, those are going to be the only products I take, assuming there's good.
Assuming, yeah.
Assuming there's good as.
There's going to be, because here's the thing, there's going to be in the market, I went through that slide really quick, there's going to be people that fall in different buckets, consumers that fall in different buckets. There's guys like you that are just fine, right? You know the products, you know the supplements, you do your research, and guys like that, there's guys like you, we want people like you. We want you to poke holes in our stuff and say, wait a minute, it's good, but it's not as good as this, or whatever. I want that feedback from you. If I got to do something to I think the formulation's kick ass.
See, I know. See, when you said that really caught my attention.
Yeah, I think the formulation's kick ass. If the formulation can be better because you find something that you think is just out of this world, as long as it's all natural, I'm open to that, right? So there's people like you that are super intense about it. There's going to be also people that are like the housewives next door that just want something a little bit better, and they already know we know they're putting crap in their body, and so we're going to help them put something better in their body. And then there's going to be people right on each side of the spectrum. I call those the 10 and 10. But then 80% of the population, they're walking in and they kind of know, kind of don't know, kind of don't care. So there's going to be people that fall on all three of those spectrums. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So I love the intense guys, but a lot of my friends are that way, right? They're super intense about it. Check the label, read everything. They're like Kate over here, right? They're like turned around, don't agree. That's awesome. Give us feedback. I think, by the way, you're going to look at our stuff and be like, this formulation is incredible. But you also might look at it and find something I'm missing.
one thing that MSM, I swear by it. We find a way to get that into BCA products or something.
Yeah. So there is a laundry, guys, here's the one thing we joked about this in Los Angeles. There is a laundry list of products that we want to create.
Awesome.
What I don't want to do is I don't want to create eyeliner. I don't want to create makeup. I don't want to create lotions. Like, that's not my gig. And that came up in LA, like, hey, can you make sort of a, no, I can't. I mean, I could.
Yeah, they're doing the stupid gum shit now. And
It's not what I want to do, but there is a list of products that we want to develop, right? So,
We talked about this.
yeah.
Quest Bars built their
They
organization
built their
on their
brand
bars.
on a bar.
And now they have protein shake, baking powder, chips, all the stuff. That's great, but they built it on their bars. And so for us, we're building it on 3 products. That's what we're gonna build out.
And by the way, I've already
goals to
had,
add to it.
you know, so for example, 2 weeks ago, contacted the bar manufacturer to start making all natural protein bars, right? So, but that's a later phase. Talked to Dr. Emily Park about doing we wanted to sort of a shred pill, which is really popular. People who want to get shredded that want to lean out, right? It's especially really popular for females. So we've got that product that we're looking at. We're going through the formulation. So we're formulating, that product, and we're formulating the bars. But all that stuff comes later. Right now, we're launching with these 3 things. We get them to market. We make these really good. We get feedback from the field. We get feedback from customers. We find out what it looks like, and then we tweak it. We get these things locked down, and we move on to the next step.
And that's a big thing too, and Aaron, why I wanted to do this and have him here, because for us, with John's friends and family, my family and friends, like, we're the guinea pigs. We're the ones that we get to play with things, and you're like, oh, how are we gonna do this? We don't really know all that. We haven't, but I mean, things are gonna change. Things are gonna evolve over the next year in terms of how we're gonna market, strategy. We have a good idea of how we wanna do it. We've come up with a good plan that's easy and structured for someone who wants to put in 6 to 8 hours a week and make some great side cash, while others are just gonna take the products. But when it comes out, we're gonna try it. You might be like, this doesn't taste that good, or and some things it's gonna be like, well, that's as good as it's gonna get. I mean, try Vega.
Yeah, I will tell you right
Vega.
now, the protein's about as good as it's gonna get.
And by the way, the cocoa, I haven't tried the vanilla. The cocoa, I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought he tried it too when we were over there. Like, it tastes like cocoa. It's really good. Where I take Vega because it gets chalky. I go, Vega's chalky. I'm like, I still take it because it's the best thing for you that's out there and it's all natural. But it actually is really good. So I'm really excited about that. And then the pre-workout, I've never taken pre-workouts, but we had it when we were over there, and it tastes really good. It's light, it's easy to drink, and performance, like, they've been testing it.
From a performance standpoint, it just depends on what you're trying to get out of it. I take the pre-workout. I still have samples for both, right? So I take the pre-workout I work out 5 days a week. I do CrossFit on Mondays and Fridays. I do yoga on Wednesdays. I still take the pre-workout, by the way. And I do 2 garage workouts on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I take the pre-workout 5 days a week.
My main thing
It works.
is longevity in your workouts. I don't care about that initial burst into the workout. What I care about is my intensity level an hour deep into it.
Sure.
Is it still there? Are you
Everybody's different. For me, yeah.
We'll try it. That's what we want to try.
I just want to try it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I really just want to try it.
Yeah. I'm very excited to get the product and get samples into the right hands and see what people think about it. So far, the feedback has been awesome. We did a little mini workout group with 2 girls who never had a pre-workout in their life, and they took the pre-workout and they're like, I am jacked. I'm gonna swap this out for my coffee.
They didn't have any negative jitters or anything. Okay.
So one of the things about the jitters, has anyone ever taken like C4?
Yes, that was my go-to before I stopped cold turkey.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing you stopped cold turkey because C4 is a kind of crap and it's designed to kill you. But by the way, it gets you jacked for your workouts. So
is this what you're comparing it to?
Yeah, so I would say this is like the healthy version of C4.
All right.
Yeah, I would say it's like a healthy version.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I think it works awesome. So I take a lot of pre-workouts. I've taken 10 years on tour. I probably tried everything from Alex Flow to C4 to everything in between. Right? Every brand name you've never heard of before. Okay. So it's good. It works really well. But everyone's different too. Everyone has a different reaction. You asked a good point about the jitters. Some people drink a cup of coffee and that's through the roof. They can't go to bed. A friend of mine, he drinks a cup of coffee literally an hour before he goes to sleep.
My negatives are uncontrollable heart palpitations, mid-workout, jitters, all of us, if you've worked out and taken a pre-workout, there's always that one time occasionally where you're like, all right, I just gotta go throw up before I can even continue my workout. So I'm talking about those.
Yeah, I haven't had any heart palpitations. I haven't had to throw up, which is both those. Thank God I haven't. And yeah, and I haven't had jitters. So
Yeah, and we're not, and Aaron, this is not about, like, we're not like, all right, let's sign up now without you even trying it. Like, we're just sharing, here's where we're at. Products aren't done yet, but we wanted our friends and family to be in the know of stuff as we're getting ready.
and I'm excited for
it.
you to see. And I'm excited for you to test it because there is a group of really extreme people that focus and intensity on supplements that they take.
Like him and I know we've been around the block around supplements that we could take it and tell you after 2 tries whether or not it's up there.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to putting this one in the ring, putting the hat in the ring.
What were the 3 products again? Pre-workout.
Pre-workout protein, BCA.
So the I wanted to show real quick what was in them.
Yeah.
Can you go put it up here?
All right.
Because we did it. The papers, like we just don't have the papers.
Yeah, everyone's gonna
email.
get this electronically as well. We're and we are just about wrapped. We're just about wrapped up.
So
So
that $50, is that a one-time membership fee, or is that an annual fee?
I think we should do it annually, but it's one time.
it's one time.
Well, so basically, you pay $50, you get 20% off products for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So how much is the average protein?
But almost every kind of membership of any kind is annually, and that should be something we look at.
$8 for kind of
Should it be annually?
Like-
Should it be annually?
Well, that's what- yeah, that's
split in the company in terms of you have it. You don't sell it a year.
80.
And
So John, you want longevity of your life, so you pay $50 one time.
What's the cost of the protein?
So the cost of protein right now, we haven't finalized it. We've been looking at everything between $64.99 and $74.99.
How many, usually like a month?
30 days.
That's
It's
30
a
days.
30-day supply. So it's actually it's 2 grams. So real quick, and this is
I mean, that's my Vega is,
yeah, it's a great example. So
and
this
that's
is 75
16.
This is
So if
75
it's 70, then you're getting $14 off each one. At 20.
So this is so one scoop is
It's 16 grams of protein.
This is quote unquote the healthiest stuff out there.
this is probably
It is.
So this is 876 grams, which is so ours is almost like twice as large.
Almost twice.
Yeah, it's almost twice. This is 21 servings. We're getting like an additional 9 servings.
50% more.
Yeah.
And that's like $80.
This is $80. This is $80.
Okay. And so, well, I guess I'm asking just because how long before someone makes their $50 back? That's like just a couple of proteins. Because if it's 20, if you're making 14.
But saying that, the Fast Start pack, like if someone bought a Fast Start pack,
Yeah,
once
so
you
it
build a
just-
6-pack,
Well, not
you
even
just
that,
got your
not
money
around.
It's not
Just
just
straight up, if I pay $50 to be
Yeah,
a member,
yeah.
and
within
then if
3
I'm making
months.
20% for the rest of my life,
Mhm.
then if I made $14 off of one protein,
You do it in
$14.
something
It's not like
every
4
month.
proteins.
After 4 proteins,
You've already made your membership.
$250 in sales. Making a membership.
But he's talking about just the customer that
Just
signs up as a
just from
member.
a customer's perspective, you
Yeah,
made
they would go through
back.
4. They would go through 4 months of it. They would have paid themselves back, and then every month after that, they would.
And if they use any of the other products, they get it back quicker
Right, yeah.
because you have that. And
So just
I'm just doing the basic, just the basic understanding what it takes for someone at the basic level to make their money back.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
from a Wolf of Wall Street perspective, just off the launch, we're already cheaper than our main competitor.
What did you have to say?
Yeah.
He's a wolf. He's a wolf.
So
Wait, give me from the Wolf of Wall. What do you mean?
I mean, those guys had to go, they went up against, all the big shots, stockbroker companies, and they started out with garage. So what I'm saying is, they switched to penny stocks. That was their, meal ticket. We're already from launch. Our product is cheaper than our main competitors, going against all organic or as close to organic as we can get.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that right there is awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty smooth. So here are the. This is I don't know if you can see this, but you'll get this. I'm gonna send this to you guys. Actually, Kathy has this. So she always asks me to send this, but we have this, Kathy.
See, I do vitamin B's with my natural.
All right, so this is the pre-workout.
Yep.
Oh, they can't really see it. Are you seeing
Is
this
that the
in it?
labeling?
I'm just reading it.
No, just a document. You guys.
I
Can
like
you
the colors.
explain it for some people in here? Huh?
I like the colors and everything. It's
Like just as you
very
got the
good.
vitamin C and vitamin
So
B.
here's the thing, Kathy has all these documents, she has the comp documents, so she can send them to you. I can also, if she gives me your email, or you give me your email before you leave, I can also send them to you in case she forgets, because she's busy at Thanksgiving. making dinner.
So it has the pre-workout is vitamin C, vitamin B, electrolyte support, and then the can you talk about that last one? Sorry.
Yeah, so
CoQ10, that's good for your heart.
yeah, so CoQ10 is really good for cardiovascular health. It's also the single most expensive product in the product.
That's good stuff, man.
Mitochondria booster.
Yes, this is good for for cellular health. It is it is the single most expensive product in the product. So we originally had 100 milligrams of it in, and it was extravagant. We would have had to charge over $100 for.
We were talking about maybe in the future doing a like black label or something.
But the good news is it still has over 50 milligrams of CoQ10 in it, which if you look at a lot of the products on the market, they don't even have CoQ10.
Yeah,
so
no.
It's so expensive.
Closest thing they have is MSM, and that right there poops all over MSM.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's awesome.
It's better.
So in terms of pre-workout, right, we've got L-carnitine in there for endurance support.
This is wait,
This
what's
is still the pre.
this is all the pre-workout?
Yep.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So it has the amino acids, caffeine.
Yep, natural caffeine.
Wow, man, I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's a
It really
very
is an all natural,
No NO2.
no.
no nonsense. I mean, with everything else
There's
in
a high
there.
fructose corn syrup, guys. What are we doing?
I know.
Need that in there, guys.
I know.
Okay, so that's a part. So try not. So the first two papers are all the pre-workout, right? It's the back and front.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was missing the BCA component, so that's not in there.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Okay.
BCA has 50% of the ingredients that the pre-workout has.
That is awesome.
How many milligrams?
So the BCA is like the pre-workout.
It's like 100. 100 and
And it's,
Yeah.
it's natural caffeine.
Yeah.
What's in the BCA?
So BCA has 50% of the ingredients that the pre-workout has. It actually has 50 milligrams of CoQ10 as well. But it also has the branched chain amino acids in it. So in terms of like endurance support for your workout.
So that wasn't what was on the second one.
It's
Was a
not-
different kind of
no,
amino
it's
acid?
Yeah, it's different. So some of these products are in. So these key amino acids are actually in both the pre and the BCA. And then this CoQ10 right here is also in the pre and the BCA.
Is there a benefit for it not having the NO2?
Um,
I'm not saying it should or shouldn't, I'm just asking.
Yeah,
It's
no,
gonna
and
sell
that's-
that product.
that's a really good question. I could probably
Sell
ask
it,
Dr. Park. Why not?
Who's working on the presentation of this again? Because I'm just curious on how simple we can make this, because coming from a family that doesn't know, doesn't know crap about this, these words y'all are saying, I have no idea what you guys are saying.
Yeah,
So
That's a good
when
question.
we're presenting this,
Mhm.
how, we're
Here's-
not looking to go after, we are looking to go after the people who are already fit. My main goal is also to go after.
Yeah, but for those people, when you say it's all natural, all whatever, like okay, like they don't care.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure that.
Those are just the ingredients. If someone reads them, like they can look up what that is.
But if you could have a vomit of the mouth and just educate them on what it is.
We're gonna have a-
And that's why I'm just asking, whoever's working on it, like, main focus, simplicity.
Because the new year is gonna bring everybody that doesn't work out, people that don't know nutrition. That's the big
And we have we could do a stadium pitch, like here's the 5 reasons why every other nutritional plan out there or nutritional product.
I would just like
makes
to look at
money.
that, is all I'm saying.
I think there should be. I don't know if you guys had already put together a piece, John, but just having like with that handout, what are or does that have on the benefits of each, what those things are and what they provide? Is that on them?
Yeah, I have a list of each ingredient and what it does.
So just having that
To your point.
for the trainers,
Yeah, to your point, from a simplicity standpoint, that would actually complicate things.
right?
So we'd have to figure out a way to do it, because I could tell you exactly what every single ingredient does, but you're right, if somebody doesn't know a lot.
Is there a way to,
It's complicated to make it simple, but I think we can make
well,
it.
because people buy based on benefits, not on features.
Right, but if you say we have aminos, so this says this.
Yes,
This
exactly,
says
so
this.
right next to it says builds muscle. Like, someone just reads builds muscle, like,
Oh, okay, cool, man. Yeah, that would be exactly, okay, yeah,
builds muscle, yeah, so that's what he's saying, just a quick little, what's the benefit next to the feature?
Or John, if there's things or ingredients in your product that other people don't have. Explain or just like a little like side note,
Like, why are you putting it in your product?
and they don't. No.
The other product don't have it?
I like
The pros to it.
Yeah.
Is the same. So I don't see anything negative about this.
All
Because
Doritos.
it's ingredients.
No, there's a 4-pack in the fridge, pull it out. I think something we could do is having a paper where maybe it has like the ingredient and then the little description you have of the ingredient, but then the benefit. Like you said, build muscle, do whatever. So it's just ingredient, description of amino acid,
And then three
description,
joints.
and then benefit.
And now what else? Now we're already on the website with the product.
I think we have the
Yeah.
a chart that has.
Yeah. I like it. We're pretty much segueing into the final piece, so we might as well just wrap up with, this is the part where we look to you guys for guidance, feedback, input, and you guys are already starting to go down this road, so I like it. One thing I do want to do, Kathy, you have everybody's email, right?
Nope,
Okay,
She will by the end of today.
okay.
we can put them in the computer.
So why don't you do that and then send it to me, because I have a feeling that I'll probably go through the documents before you do it.
No, we'll do that real quick.
Sure. So we don't email. But yeah, so more feedback.
So I've got something I came up with. Are you familiar with Chet Holmes at all? So I almost took a
I went to the
position.
first ever business